Hello friends, welcome to Southern Seasons. My name is Jody and I am so glad that you have joined me. Today's video, I am going to be taking one of my junk journal kits that I have available for sale on eBay, and I am going to be making 3 DIY projects with it. Now, just because it's a junk journal kit doesn't mean you have to actually do a junk journal. You can use this to make other cute decor for your home. So here is the pieces that is inside the kit that I have available for sale. I actually had 2 of these. There is one for sale on eBay and I took the other one off so I can show you how you can use all of these items, and maybe not every single one of them, and make a few different projects. So the first project that I'm going to be working on is just one of these little storage boxes that you can find at thrift stores, or I know Hobby Lobby has them, but you can get them like at Tuesday Morning, a lot cheaper. Now I'm going to be using some of these pieces. As you can see, they're 2-sided. I'm just going to pick the side that I want and put the Mod Podge on the other side. And I am going to keep the black that is on the spine area of the storage book here because I think it looks great with everything that I'm going to be using. Just going to line it up here. Let's put a little bit more Mod Podge on the edge here. Didn't get quite enough. Okay. Then I'm going to take this piece. It is 2-sided also, but it has the same pattern. I'm going to cut it to size. Okay, and make sure you save any little pieces that you cut off because you can always use them for something else. Let's go ahead and get this Mod Podged on. Okay. All right, get it all nice and smooth. Then I have some of these other pieces that I want to put on also. So here's a little tag that I actually made from some of my scrapbooking paper. You will get a few of the tags that I have handmade in the kit. I'm gonna glue this one over here. And I'm going to use this one here too, but I want to cut off the little bit of the beige trim around the pearls. Just cut it off just a little bit. And as you can see, this has a different pattern on that side. Get this Mod Podged on. What I like about this with the 2 sides is you can decide which side you want to use. And I like this one with the bodice on here, but I don't want it all the way, with the lace around it. So I am just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut the bodice out. And you want to save all your extra little pieces because you can always use them on other projects. So I'm going to continue to carefully cut around here. Okay, figure out where I want to put it. All right, so we're going to get the Mod Podge on the back side real quick here and place this over here. Okay, so now I have this one here. I also want to cut out the moth that is on here. And again, make sure you save all your little pieces because this is kind of nice with the little pearls and the circle. So you can always use this for something else. And the moths do have antennas on here that are really skinny, so you just want to kind of cut a little bit more around the antennas so it will show if you wanted to. Otherwise, you can just cut the antennas off. Let me get the rest of this cut off here. All right. And figure out where I want to place it. And we'll get the Mod Podge on real quick. And, I think I'm actually going to place it right here in this spot. Now, I want to put some buttons on here, but I'm going to wait to do that till the end. Because I want to do a little bit on the inside here. As you can see, it has the world picture on here. And I'm actually going to cover it up with one of these here, these cards. and it just happens to fit perfectly to cover that up. So just going to put some more Mod Podge on here and get it covered up. And of course, if your book on the inside, has nice stuff on it already, you don't have to change it. I just wanted to change it up just a little bit. Okay, that looks nice and pretty. Now, before I do the front, I want to do something on the back. Even though normally this would be, on your table or whatever where you would decorate with it, but just in case it shows, if you want to have it standing up and you can see the back side, you want to change it up. And I'm not going to be putting any extra embellishments on the back side. I'm just going to be using the pieces of the scrapbook paper on here, so no buttons or lace or anything. And this one's a little bit too long to be on here, but I'm just going to cover over the other piece of paper. And of course I need to trim up the edges there, so it hangs over just a little bit. And here's another one of those tags that I made that I'm going to put on here. I'm just going to use 3 pieces on here. I'm going to use this one, that little bodice, and then the little circle that you see there with the flower on it. And this bodice is already cut out for you. I've already done that. Okay. And this one is the same on both sides with the flower, and I just want to cut the flower out because I don't want the whole circle. And I will be saving all the outer edge of here for another project. Okay, figure out where to put that one, and we'll get it Mod Podged on really quick. Okay, so that is all that I'm going to do for the back side. So we got the inside done, both sides done, and now I want to figure out if I want to use this chain, the chain on here, the lace, not sure, so figure it out here real quick. So I've decided just to use some of the steampunk buttons on here and some of the vintage buttons that come in the kit. I decided not to use the lace or the chain on this project. So I'm just randomly placing my steampunk buttons on here first. Just hot gluing everything on. And now I want to put some of my vintage buttons on. I have this little pearl looking one that just fits right in the middle of that one. And I'm going to finish placing the rest of the buttons on here. And I like how the spine is the black. I think it looks great with this, with the gold and everything. So I'm glad I didn't cover it, but you can always cover yours. So that is it for this project. On to the next one. Now this is just a little cardboard box. I ordered something off of Amazon a while ago and it came in this little box. I thought it was cute. It's perfect to do a little project on from this kit. Again, I'm just going to be using Mod Podge, selecting a few pieces that I want to use, and my pieces are just a little bit, at least this piece hangs over just a little bit, so I will have to cut it to size. Got to take just a little bit of the edge off. And I think I'm just going to leave the bottom of the box the way it is and just decorate the top. I'm even going to be doing the edges of the top here. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do this exactly. This is a piece that comes in the kit, and I think I'm going to use that side. And I'm just going to measure what I need and cut my 4 strips. Alright, so I got my strips cut here, and I'm just going to be Mod Podging them on really quick. Just like that. And I'm going to continue on with the other sides. I think I'm just going to put it on the side. It's a lot easier than trying to put it on the piece. Just line it up, press it on, and on to the next. Let's get the last piece on here really quick. Okay. All right. So now I want to go ahead and glue this piece on. Okay, and I'm actually leaving a little bit of space on the top and the bottom because this lace is going to fit perfect to cover that up. All right, so now I have this piece here that I want to use, and I'm actually going to let it hang over the edge just a little bit because I'm going to bend it over and glue it to the side too, just like this. And it looks like I need just a little bit more Mod Podge in here. Okay. And this is another one of those little tags that I made. I think I want to put it underneath this piece here. Kind of pulled it off a little bit. That's okay though. Everything's going to get covered up. A little bit more Mod Podge here. And again, I'm going to fold it over on the side. All right, and I like this little tag here, but I just want to use the heart and the little roses here. So I'm going to carefully cut out the roses and the heart. I just want to mention that there is a little thanks button underneath my video here that if you want to give a contribution, I would really appreciate it because it does help me bring you more of these DIY videos. All right, so I'm trying to figure out where to put the heart, what side. Okay, and again, I'm going to fold it over. And it's okay that I'm covering up, some of the section of the box that I didn't get at the top and the bottom because that lace right there is going to be going over there. Again, I am going to be cutting out the moth. And you want to save all your little trim pieces. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this cut out. And I am always leaving my antennas on the moths that I cut out. I think that's the hardest part about these moths, especially the smaller ones, is trying to keep the antennas on there. Okay, let's get this finished up really quick. And I am still going to be using the little rose there too. Once I get this done. All right, so I think I'm going to put the moth right there. Okay. Fold that over just a little bit there. And let's figure out where to put the roses. All right, I think right there looks great. And I want to cut out the little tag on here too. I think it's kind of cute. How about right there? Okay. Let's get that glued on. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is cutting my lace to size, and I'm just going to be hot gluing it on here at the top and at the bottom. As you can see, I have that done. Now I'm going to be using some more of those steampunk buttons and the vintage buttons on here. Let's go ahead and get these placed around. All right. And how about a little bit more down here at this end? And place one more right here. All right. So that is all I'm going to do for this one. Just going to get it back on. And on to the last project here. So I have this picture frame here that I'm going to be using, and I'm surprised how great this picture frame matches all of the scrapbook paper. Now I'm going to be using these two full-size sheets that are in here, and I have one of these smaller ones already that happens to fit perfectly on here, and the other piece is left over from when I did the last box. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do these, because like these are all double-sided, so you have two different patterns. Just trying to figure out what pattern I want to use and how I want to place it really quick here before I actually put the Mod Podge on. Okay, so I think this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to get all the Mod Podge put on this piece here. Do that really quick. All right, so I'm just going to line it up here like so. Need a little bit more on that edge, all right? Okay, so I'm going to use this one. You know, and like I said before, it's nice that this is got the double-sided pattern, so you can decide which patterns that you want to use. You know, and you can always use some tissue paper, or you can actually just paint your any of these things, like the boxes that I did, the storage box and the cardboard box. You can always actually paint it in a color where you don't have to put some of these bigger pieces to cover it up, and then you can just use the smaller pieces. So let me get this finished up here real quick. It is kind of funny how these turned out perfectly. I didn't cut any of these. Now get this last one on, and then I'm going to let it dry before I go on with the next pieces. I put a little bit more Mod Podge right there. Okay. And again, I think it looks great with that frame. Now, what I've decided to do is use a couple of doilies that I already have. This is not included in the kit. I'm just going to put some Mod Podge in the middle. I'm going to place this on here. I might tuck some things in, so I'm not going to glue it down just yet. I'm going to kind of decide. These are a little too big, so I'm just going to kind of hang them over the edges, because I will just cut that off once I get all of these put on. Okay. And I'm going to do the other corners down here. I know you can't see it as well on the camera, but I'm just finishing up the side here. Okay. And one more. And I'm going to go ahead and put these edges down on here and put some Mod Podge over it too. Okay. Oops, a little stuck there. Let's put this around here and get the other corners. And you know, you could also use real lace on here too. You don't have to use paper doilies, or you don't have to use the doilies at all. Okay, so now that I've got everything glued down, I'm just going to put the frame on here because I want to see how to do this, and I'm placing a few of these pieces on here to kind of figure out what I want to do. Tuck that in there maybe. Okay, yeah, I think that's going to work. All right, so let's go ahead and take these off, and I want to put this one on here first, this tag. All right, let's get that out of the way. A little bit more glue down there and around the edges. Let's place this one here, I think like that, and this little envelope. I love this little envelope here. Let's go ahead and get some glue on the back of this. Okay. All right, got stuck there a little bit. All right, set this one here. And I want to place the envelope right here. And I'm not going to glue the top of the envelope because you can always pull that flap down. I'm going to keep it where if I want to pull the flap down, I can, because I might do something with some string and some buttons. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get this flower put in the corner too really quick. And it's just going to hang over the edge just a little bit. Okay, we'll put the frame around it again to figure out where I want to place the envelope for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and put some glue just on the back of the envelope, but not the flap. All right, and get that on there, because you know you can stick some things in this envelope, which I'm actually going to. But anything you want in there. I'm just going to use some of the tags that are in the kit in there, but you could have some lace hanging out, some pearls, whatever you want to do. Some glue on the back of this. A little bit more, okay. All right. So I'm going to be putting this tag down here. Just going to kind of figure it out with the frame, see what I need to do, because it will have to hang over a little bit for right now. Let's get some glue on it. And I know you can't hardly see it, but you'll get to see it here in just a few minutes here. So this is one thing that I just want to stick in the envelope, and put some buttons around here too. But I want to get the frame on it before I do the buttons. So now that I have the frame on here, I'm trying to figure what I want to do. I'm going to use some of the chain and my ribbon. Now I just use half of the piece of the chain that I cut, and you get 2 pieces of the ribbon, and I cut one of them in half for this. Just going to put a big glob of hot glue right here, and I'm going to put the chain in there and some of the ribbon. Stick it down in there. Careful of your fingers on the hot glue. As you see, I got my finger there. And I just have these little pieces that came off of something that was crocheted that I already have on hand, so I'm just going to push these in here. You could even put some pearls in here too. Probably not the big pearls that come in, but if you have like the smaller pearls, some string of smaller pearls you can put on there. And I want to go ahead and put this button here, like so. And I'm going to use one of the little steampunk buttons here. Okay. Press that in. There, I think that looks cute. Now let's go ahead and add some more of the buttons. Move this just a little bit. I'm going to put the heart-shaped one down here. Okay. And let's see. Oops, it fell. That's all right. It's good right there. And one of the vintage buttons here. And let's use one of these over here. Okay, place that there. And we'll use a regular button, like so. All right, so I'm just trying to figure out where to put all the buttons here. I think I'll put one up there. And you do get, I have 11 of the steampunk buttons in the kit, and there's 50 of the vintage buttons, so you get plenty of buttons. And I think I used about all my steampunk ones, but I got lots of the vintage ones left over. Okay, how about a button right here? And one more of these right here. Okay. Now another thing I'm going to do is I have these adhesive pearls that I got from the Dollar Tree. This is not included. But since there's like these little, pearls on the scrapbook paper, I'm just going to cover those up with the real ones so it's a little more dimensional. And I do want to use some hot glue because sometimes these things just don't stick well. So there's 2 of these little pearls here. Okay, let's cover that up. All right. So let's figure out where we can put a couple more. I think I'm going to put one right here in the middle of this flower. It'll look kind of cute. Stick that there. Again, be very careful with the hot glue. And there's a little pearl right here, so let's go ahead and make this one look dimensional. Okay. Get that on in the right spot. All right. So now I want to use some of the pearls that come in the kit here, the string of pearls, the pearl trim. I'm just going to kind of randomly place it here, kind of figure out how I want to do this. And I'm just going to hot glue it down. Now the hardest part is figuring out where you want to place it. Okay, so I'm just going to hot glue this down. I'm just going to move the pearls a little bit and put some hot glue here, stick it down. I'm going to continue this on for the rest of the picture. I may add a few more pieces. So let's see how all 3 of the projects look together with some of my Mother's Day items that I did. All right, so I decided to set everything together. I think this all even looks great together, all coordinated. Here is the little storage book. Some close-ups here. And of course the little box lid here. I can kind of not have a shadow there. I turned the light on up here so you could see better. It's a little dark up here in the loft. And there we go. That looks a little better. All right, and the picture. I did add a few more things down here at the bottom below the envelope, as you can see, and over here I used some of that where I cut out the flower and I just Mod Podged it on and put a button in there. All right, that is going to do it for the video today. I hope that you enjoyed it and I could give you some ideas on how to use one of my junk journaling kits for something other than a junk journal. And if you'd like to make a small contribution, I would really appreciate it. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.